And this beautiful male leopard has put on such a wonderful show for us. And while Jamie has been trying to soothe her itches, this male has moved away from the carcass and he's come into this beautiful jackalberry tree. A massive jackalberry, and just have a look at where he is lying. Isn't that a fantastic position for this leopard? It's not often you get leopards just going and deciding to lie in the tree and rest. They do on occasion, but this is obviously a nice big tree. Look at his legs. That is the perfect leopard pose. Legs placed across either side of the branch, tail hanging down. He's probably resting his belly off the side because it's probably full from feeding. And now he's just resting. And while he's up there, he's got a lovely vantage point to have a look around, to see if there are any other animals in the area. And also there's a wonderful cool breeze which is blowing through this drainage line and through this area that we are in at the moment, so it's perfect for him up there. It's nice and cool and probably staying away from some of the flies. So just an incredible position for this leopard. And I unfortunately left my camera back at camp, and that's Murphy's Law. You leave your camera at camp, you often see some really great stuff, but it's not a problem because it's just so wonderful to also just enjoy sightings at times. It doesn't mean you always have to take photographs, but just to enjoy and appreciate these sightings, I find is just as beneficial and just as exciting as taking photos of animals in trees or whatever they may be doing. It's nice to see this big leopard up in this beautiful jackalberry tree. Now there is wonderful light at the moment, however it's just missing him. He's managed to find a bit of shade. There's some branches in front of him off to the right, and that's blocking the sun. But if you look in the leaves above him and to the left, there's a beautiful golden light coming through at the moment, and he's just in the shade. And it is a pity. If we were serious photographers, I mean it would be a bit of a disappointment, but like I said, to be able to see a leopard up in a tree like this, out in the open, beautiful view, this is a sighting that very seldom can be beaten. So just cleaning himself. There's beautiful spots on the legs and the rosettes on the rest of the body. Very beautiful patterns. And apparently, and I've never touched a leopard, but apparently their coats are very soft. Some of you may have just caught a glimpse of the track on the other vehicle. Looked like he was right underneath the leopard. It was just the perspective that from where we were sitting, he wasn't underneath. He was actually quite a distance behind the tree on the other side, and on the other side of the termite mound. They have moved off, but you see that big termite mound? So the vehicle was actually parked behind there, and was quite away from the leopard. It was just from our perspective where we were viewing from, it appeared as if he was a lot closer, but he was definitely nowhere close to the leopard or underneath it. And every area is different, and every lodge is different. In these areas in the northern Sabi Sands, the trackers do stay on the vehicles, or on the front of the vehicles. Generally, when I guide, and a lot of the lodges that I take guests to, we get the trackers into the vehicles when we get into big cat sightings or predator sightings. And the only reason is it's not a safety issue at all, but But occasionally you may cause the animals to react a little bit to the vehicles because the tracker does stand out a bit on the front of the vehicle, and you don't want them to react to the vehicle in any way. And if he does move or any quick movement may cause an animal to move away. And then also from a photographic point of view, what we prefer is if the tracker is in the vehicle, it's easier. If the animal moves around and changes positions, you can still get photographs at different angles on the vehicle. Otherwise, you might have the tracker in the picture a few times. You've got to reposition the vehicle. So all of those considered, I prefer getting the tracker into the vehicle, and I think the trackers also enjoy a bit of a break and sitting inside for a bit, so they usually join me in the front just next to me, and then we can enjoy the sighting, and you don't have to worry too much about movement or anything like that disturbing the animals. But as I said, some lodges are different and they've got different procedures, and some lodges keep the trackers on the vehicles. So it all varies and it all changes. But I prefer to get a tracker in.